Hello guys and welcome back to this second part of the Pro Season Career Mode as Sergio Perez. Following on from a very solid first outing at Australia, obviously can't really warn you too much about a spoiler because the results and the championship standings are right there, which pretty much tells you who finished where in that episode. So we're coming off a very solid second place heading into Malaysia, where we'll be looking to build that momentum even more and see if we can back that up with a solid second result. Other than that, not too much else to say other than let's get straight to it. We're going to be heading into qualifying part 1 first to see if we can get through that. So let's see how we get on.
Sit back and put your feet up as we head into qualifying here in Kuala Lumpur. Over the next few minutes, we'll find out who's got pace in the car and who hasn't.
So at the end of Q1, we've done a solid enough job to get through into the second part of Q2 using a set of prime tyres. The only worrying thing being that the top 5 there, you can see all getting through on prime tyres, and there's a huge gap between us and those guys, nearly 3 seconds, which is a little bit worrying. But the main thing for us is that we are through into the next part. Oh, the rain appears to have arrived. Typical Malaysia style, as if we hadn't had enough rain from the last episode. The rain is back once more. So we're going to need to get out on track and make sure we get a lap in nice and early before the rain gets any heavier, presumably.
That's a very disappointing performance from Fernando.
So, an interesting development there through Q2. So we saw the rain at the start. And basically what we did, we went straight out early, along with a lot of other drivers who, for some reason, although the first sector seemed to be okay, as we sort of got through the fast left-right in the middle sector, and from that point onwards, the track was sort of just that little bit too wet for intermediates to be working, but they weren't completely out their windows, so everyone else pitted and came onto the full wet tyres. We completed our lap, managed to pop in a 47.3, and obviously by the time all the AI went out, they were on full wets, and they weren't able to get anywhere near. So that has given us P1 in that Q2 session by quite some distance. But obviously, all that really means is that come race day tomorrow, that just means that we're going to be able to start on a fresh set of whichever tyres we want, presuming that it's dry. Even if it is wet, again, we'll get a fresh set, but I'm really hoping that it is not another wet race. Our teammate not making it through, but there you can see the top 10 who are going to be now battling out for pole position and to set the top 10 grid positions in this final part of qualifying. Here we go. And it looks to be dry, although the forecast there is saying rain. So again, it looks like we're going to have to be one of those looking to get out nice and early and do a lap nice and early, put in a bank lap and see what happens with the weather from that point. We haven't been able to improve. That kind of sucks, as that first bank lap we did got us into P3 and there's plenty more time on the table, but we just couldn't string that final lap together. You saw quite a few mistakes in there. For some reason, I don't know if it came across on the video, but it definitely felt like the screen was shaking about a bit during that lap, so I don't know what was going on there. But it's another P3 start, this time round, just the two Mercedes ahead, so only, well, a matter of hundredths behind Hamilton, and less than 2/10 off pole in the end. Pretty close qualifying there, top 5 separated by just 3/10, which is pretty immense. But nevertheless, it's going to be another P3 slot, as I just said, so we'll be looking to see what we can do off the line and down into turn 1, and then seeing how our race pace compares to the cars around us. Hopefully it'll be better than what it was in Australia, because obviously this is very similar to the qualifying that we had there, but then come race day we just weren't anywhere near them on pure lap pace. So let's have a look. Let's go to the Malaysian Grand Prix and see first of all, of course, what the weather's going to be like.
Good afternoon and welcome from Sepang for what is going to be a fascinating race. It's the Malaysia Grand Prix.
Well, at least it's dry, so that's a good thing compared to obviously last time out in Australia. So let's have a look at the race strategy, as Croft needs to shut the hell up, as we're looking at 3 stops, so starting on options of course, and then we'll be moving on to 2 further sets of options and a final prime stint at the end. So we've got 13, 26, and then that final stint at the end is going to be some 17 laps. That seems just about right. So not too much else to look at here, other than seeing obviously what the race pace is going to be like during the first few laps, and see if we can settle into a rhythm and keep tabs with the Mercedes hopefully. But let's go to the start of the race, as we are now on the grid. 5 lights coming on. Here they are, 5 lights are now there. Away they go, and we are underway for the Malaysian Grand Prix, and it's been a pretty terrible start, it must be said, as we're now looking to cover the inside. We're going to be 3 wide with P4 already, the 2 Mercedes up ahead, line astern. As we're breaking as light as we can, a little bit of oversteer, trying to get back P3 from the Ferrari that I believe has taken us off the line initially, and it looks like we may have just been about to do that, and we have indeed. So it's Sebastian Vettel who jumped us initially, but we've got that place back through turns 1 and 2, as we're now back into P3 behind the 2 Mercedes up ahead. Of course we've got to now adjust with the heavy fuel load on board and try and settle into a rhythm and see how we compare to these guys around us. So it's lap 3, it's the first opportunity for DRS to be put to use, and the Ferrari of Sebastian Vettel behind us is going to be doing that, as he looks to close up and not make a move into this final turn, as he'll once again have access to that DRS, as will every other car behind him. Here he comes, and he's going up the inside. Not a great deal of room there. There he goes. We're going to look to hold it around the outside on the brakes though. He's still there, still side by side. If we can get a burst of speed, we can still hold out the inside of turn 2, which we have done. I can't see him, but he's managed to get better traction than us on the run out of turn 2, now through turn 3 and up to turn 4, picking up the slipstream. Might be able to look back up the inside though, spotting the 100 metre braking board. We are up the inside. There's a bit of contact, but we are back through into P3. 3 wide behind going into turn 1, and it's the Williams I think is just going to pull off a double overtake on both Ferraris. Surely not. He has indeed, and the Ferraris are going backwards. What's going on there? So it looks like one of the Williams has dropped back, as has one of the Ferraris, so the AI really getting amongst themselves there. It looks like the Williams pulling off a double overtake on both Ferraris, and then say there's a Red Bull in the mix as well, battling with the other Williams and Ferrari. So stuff unfolding on what should be about lap, I don't know, lap 6 or 7 I think at this stage. Now that's telling me heavy rain in under 10 minutes, but surely you're going to expect a little bit of light rain before the heavy rain fully comes in, so surely the rain's going to be here at some point in some sort of intensity before it gets to heavy rain. So I'm really wanting to hold out on this set of tyres, but I think our pit window opens as of the end of next lap, so it's going to be pretty nip and tuck as to whether the rain comes in time before, say, with us trying to stay out. By the time we probably pick up a puncture if it doesn't come quite soon enough, but only time will tell. Oh, we've got a Williams coming into the pit lane. as we're going to have to do some defending once more from the Ferrari of Vettel behind, but we should have that one covered. As I do believe our pit window is actually just closed, so we're really trying to stretch this out as best we can, as Vettel's actually still on the outside there. But we have managed to keep P3 for now. Oh, there's rain. It's now, I can see, you can see it on the bodywork of the car. So the rain is now arriving, but just how quickly is it going to build up its intensity to mean intermediates are going to be the tyre to go to, because that's what we're holding out for. There's the call to say heavy rain within 5 minutes, so the light rain is now here. So we need to get the intermediates at the ready. So the Williams that pitted last lap, that looked to be a bad strategy call, but will any more AI come in on this lap, purely because I've got no tyre left? Hamilton's taken the lead, which would suggest Rosberg's in. The Williams has come in as well. So are we going to nick P2 off Nico Rosberg? We do indeed, as Vettel charges up behind us but doesn't make the move. But we are really struggling on tyres, so this rain needs to fall heavy, seriously fast. Hopefully by the end of this lap if we can. So you can see the AI looks to be struggling even more than us in these conditions, so we're going to have to box now, so we've got nothing left in terms of the tyres, and we're really risking a puncture by going any further. And so you can just see some spray. So DRS hasn't yet been disabled, but Hamilton pits, as does every other car behind us, including the two Ferraris who are going to have to stack their cars, so that's a dilemma for them. It's a 2.3 for us. I'll take that, that's pretty standard. And we're still in P2 for the time being, so has Nico Rosberg pitted for slicks and then come straight in again on the next lap for a set of intermediates and given us P2 at this stage of the race? There's the call to say DRS is disabled, which means it's now definitely time for intermediates. So let's have a look to see how this has all worked out on the race director. So there you can see it. Nico Rosberg, 2 stops. Valtteri Bottas, 2 stops. The two guys that made that pit stop on the lap earlier than everyone else went to a set of slick tyres, and then a lap later it was time for intermediate. So they've cost themselves a lot of race time, best part of 20 odd seconds at least. And so it'll be interesting to see how those guys can fight back through the field and how our pace is going to be on intermediate tyres. I think it's going to be full wets next time round. Oh, well, there you go. There's the call from the race engineer as well. So we've got to try and survive this lap, get round to the pits without losing as much time as possible. So there's the confirmation of full wets going on this car at the end of this lap, as we just about managed to get the car turned into the pit lane in these treacherous conditions once more. Oh, calm down. Oh, I've been actually given a penalty for that. Oh my god. Well, I mean, what exactly was wrong with what I did? Let me just have a quick look. I mean, did I actually go off the track or what? I mean, I haven't gone off the I mean, the tyres touched the wheel. I can't believe I've got a penalty for that. Did I just say my tyres touched the wheel? My tyres touched the white line. My rear tyre at least, but that's not 4 wheels off the track. Bullshit. It's not what I wanted to hear. So the only saving grace for me might be the fact that DRS is not enabled. Right. That, to me, is telling me we're good to go on intermediate, so that's exactly what we're going to do and try and avoid getting a penalty of sorts. Which I believe we just about managed to do. Although we have got a warning again. Or was that just the pit limiter? I don't know. Hopefully that's just the pit limiter, but it looks like everyone else coming into the pit lane at this point of the race, which I believe is about 33 laps to go. So, what are you doing? Make the... What? What? Why have you just stood there for the first 2 seconds not doing anything? Is it because I didn't tell you I was coming into the pit lane? Oh, for God's sake. That's why, isn't it? That is exactly why. For God's sake. Right, well, that's us behind Vettel now. We need to try and capitalise on him being slow on this first couple of corners. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to do so. So that's us down to P3. Bit of a rookie mistake there, but that's something to learn for future on this pro season career mode. That if it's not your pit window, you need to tell your pit crew that you are coming in, otherwise they decide not to do anything for the first couple of seconds, and that has been crucial for us at this point of the race. Obviously on top of that at least a 3 second penalty. I don't know if we've got any more. So there's the back marker playing a bit of a role, but not particularly a lot, as he comes back onto the racing line dangerously and completely blocks us. And I don't think we're going to be able to keep within that 1 second range of Sebastian Vettel. So we just got the call from the engineer to say that it was time to come into the pit lane. Obviously with DRS now being enabled as well, we're going to do the same as what we've done in Australia. We go for that lap a little bit earlier to see if we can get some form of undercut, and hope that by the time the guys come around to make their stop, whether it's in a lap or two, that the conditions will be good enough, we'll get the advantage of those option tyres. So by telling the pit crew we are ready this time round, they've delivered a 2.2 second pit stop. There's a car behind us as well, which I believe is Ricardo in the pits, so that gives me hope that we have made the right strategy call. There's about 26 laps I believe left of this race, so, oh sorry, not 26, yeah, 26 laps, so hopefully we should be okay to make it on two sets of options, this set and then another set in about 13 laps time. And so I think, actually no, there's more than 26 laps, I'm on about, it's 31 laps, sorry, 31 laps left, I do believe. Rich mixture just to see if that's going to be beneficial at all. Hopefully we'll see a Ferrari. There is a car coming out of the pit lane, which I presume is going to be Sebastian Vettel. Nope, it's not. We've already passed Vettel, who must already be in the pit lane as we've run very, very wide there. And I'm trying to work out what's going on, because that car up ahead is not a Mercedes. That car behind is not a Ferrari. However, it looks like there is a car just in the background which appears to be Sebastian Vettel. So we are now back up into P2 in this Grand Prix, of course carrying that 3 second penalty though that will be added on at the end of the race, so that is something to bear in mind. But for now, we're doing alright. We haven't got the best pace, but we're doing alright. What is this Lotus doing? For God's sake, man. How close was that to us making contact? What on earth is he doing? Taking that line to try and get out of the way. Like, yeah, I appreciate you trying to get out of the way, but there's better ways to do it than that. I mean, like, are you quite sure about that racing line? And then he comes flying back on, brakes right in front of us, and that is how close it's got between us possibly losing a bit of front wing, or maybe all of the front wing. As you can see, Sebastian Vettel now coming up behind, and that's us just up the road, so that has really hurt us in terms of the comfortable advantage we had at this point of the stint. That has been a consistent message that I've received through over the radio from my engineer throughout this sort of part of the race. Hamilton 0.5 of a second a lap faster each lap, and Vettel closing half a second a lap. That's how close he is now. We'll have a quick look to see what's going on with the laps as Vettel makes a move on us. Pick up a bit of slipstream, trying to get back up the inside. There's wheel-to-wheel contact. We're still sliding. Why is the car not gripping? There we go. That was a big scare. That was a bit of an ambitious move from us to try and get that place back, and it ended up in quite a lot of contact. but it has resulted in Sebastian Vettel getting up into P2, which was an inevitability, really. So it looks like Hamilton, looks like everyone, I think Hamilton and Vettel made their last stop. So it's Vettel that we've jumped for now, and so we'll be coming in at the end of this lap for another set of option tyres as we select primes because I'm a bit of a donut. So it's the end of lap 40, 16 laps to go, so we're going to be coming in for another set of options here. Vettel made his pit stop last lap, that's why we're currently in P2. Ricciardo was closing in on us just a little bit at the end of that stint, I think with Raikkonen as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what that's like coming into the race. As I mentioned, and keep mentioning, that 3-second time penalty is going to play a part, I feel, in our final position, with AI being slightly faster than us. As it looks like the Red Bull mechanics are out. Didn't see any sign of any Ferrari mechanics though, so that's interesting. Because I think Raikkonen was in a battle with Ricciardo to look at getting past us. So let's have a look, see what's going on. So we're now just dropped down to P3. So there goes Sebastian Vettel up ahead. There's a few lapped cars in the way, and when I say a few, I mean quite a lot. One including our teammate. So I did make sure we clear these guys pretty damn quickly. And we do indeed get DRS. So that's us within DRS range. How many laps have we got to try and make a move on Vettel? Still got 12 laps in this race, so plenty of time, although if he is on prime tyres, which I suspect, then we need to make them pretty sharpish before our option tyres drop off. Vettel has that terrible run through the right-hander, and with a much superior exit, we're going to go side by side with the double right-hander. Vettel tries to hang it around the outside, but he's gone off the track, and he's gifted us second place in this race. Now, can we, in the remaining, 11 laps, look to pull out at least 3 seconds on Sebastian Vettel? Let's go. Hammer time. That'll do, 3/10 is enough. So there we have the call from the engineer to say they're seeing tyre wear on the tyres. What are we doing in terms of Vettel's gap? 3 seconds is what we need. Half a dozen laps to go. So, as we're now about to start the very last lap of this Malaysian Grand Prix, you see Hamilton is miles ahead and he's quicker than us at this stage of the race, no surprise there. Of course, the main battle that we're looking at is back to Sebastian Vettel. And up to this point, engineers been telling me that we've been a few tenths faster here and there. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little update, see what the gap is at. It's still 3 seconds separating, and it is the final lap, so we just need to make sure we get in a steady final lap, make sure we keep it on the track and try and make sure we don't lose as much time as possible. Of course, these tyres very worn at this point of the race. 16th lap on this set of option tyres. That gap definitely looks to be more than 3 seconds to me. I think we're going to be okay for P2. Hamilton then has won the race. We're at 5% fuel, so we've still got plenty of fuel left to run in Rich down this back straight and then the rest of the pit straight. And we should have enough of a gap to bring the car home for another second place behind Lewis Hamilton, same as Australia. And then ahead of Sebastian Vettel, again, same as Australia. So, crossing the line there then, it's still saying P2 for now. There's Vettel crossing the line, and I'm pretty sure that gap is around, it's going to be very close. Let's have a look though. I believe that left step is second place, so we've done enough, just about to stay ahead of Sebastian Vettel. There's our second place trophy once more for Sergio Perez. Same podium then as you were in Australia. As the champagne flies, we're going to get a proper rundown of the classifications here. So, Lewis Hamilton winning the race with a 6-stop strategy there, winning overall by 23.9 seconds ahead of us. That 3-second penalty bringing us within 1.3 seconds of Sebastian Vettel behind, but it was enough to stay in second on the 5-stop strategy, the same as Sebastian Vettel. Rosberg, 7 stops in that race and a 5-second penalty during the race as well. That means he finishes in P4, and then the rest of the drivers there. See our teammate picking up a point, which is nice to see. And then back down the field, Raikkonen DNFing as well as Jenson Button DNFing as well. So disasters there. But what that does mean for the championship is that we retain second place. And as you can see, the top 3 finishing in the same positions as we were in Australia. So 14 points the gap between us and Hamilton, 6 points to Vettel. And then you can see the rest of the drivers there. So that has been part 2 of this career mode at Malaysia. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. The weather once again playing its part, and a dodgy penalty here and there as well by the looks of things, but we've brought it home second place. Next time out will be China, so I hope you will join me for that. But until then, it is bye for now.